Okay, it's been about 15 minutes of dry time for the Topaz Craft paint mixed with the gloss polyurethane and washer fluid. Alright, we're going to shoot one more coat on the back of the gloss and the washer fluid. I want it pretty much the same darkness as the and you see me, you can't see me, but what I'm doing, I'm spraying the back of my hand, or I got a latex glove. You don't always want to go by spraying on the on your drop cloth or whatever it is if you use something, because these absorb and they will trick you and fool you into thinking that you have the right mix, whereas a heavy runny mixture will absorb in this and you'll think, well, that looks great, and you'll go to shoot it across your plastic body that is not absorbent, and you will get runs and you will be disappointed, and you'll be cussing me and Chris at Classic Plastic and Chris Chapman and the others that use this stuff and say that this stuff does not work. If you do what you have to do this right, it will work. So and that's why I say I always paint on the back of my hand, kind of when I can see that it's not running, but it is, it does put out a nice coat, then that's when I know I'm ready to brush. So alright, let's go ahead and shoot this last coat. And like I said, I apologize if my hand is in the way. This is the only angle I really can get my camera set where you can see this and not have a lot of distractions in the background. Like I said, you're inside your fender wells. Get up close and just make quick bursts. Don't sit there and hold it. Now, this is what happens if you get too close. Well, not now, because my tip's trying to dry up just a little bit. And if that happens, let me show you. It gives me a good opportunity to show you this. If your tip starts to dry up, this stuff does dry very quickly, and I don't know if you can see that in the camera or not, but right at the very tip, probably not see that, but you'll get some little build up. What I do is I just dip my Q-tip in some in some alcohol and water, and just go around it. See, and get that little excess off. Open your brush back up, and you're ready to go. There we go. Okay. I don't know if you're picking up on this in the video. Look at the shine that you already have. And this is not with Future now. Keep in mind, this is gloss polyurethane. And craft acrylic. Who would have thunk it? And just side by side, you really can't tell the difference. Now we're going to let those dry. We'll let that back section dry, and we'll come back and we'll clear it, each one with the product that it was mixed with, and then we'll have a finished product on this craft acrylic part of it. And sometimes when I'm brushing, what I'll do is, if I know I'm not going to, if I'm not going to dry the paint in my paint booth, I want to go ahead and get it kind of done. What I'll do is I'll shut my needle all the way down to where no paint's coming out, and I'll just blow air. if I'm kind of pushed for time or whatever, most of the time I just let it sit in the paint booth and dry like that. But with this craft acrylic, you really don't have to. You can just blow straight air on it. Now, doing this out here, you're going to stir up a ton of dust. So, you don't want to do this if you don't want to paint outside your paint booth and do this. So, there's what we have. Finished product. We'll let that sit for just a minute. Let me reset, get my brushes together, get another jar out, and we'll mix we'll put our Future in a jar, and we'll put some polyurethane gloss in a jar. We will clear them, let them set, come back, take a look at them, and then shoot the Aztec, Testors Aztec. So we'll be right back. Alright, it's been about 30 minutes, so we're going to start our clear process. We're going to put in some Future. What I hope to do with this is I hope to dispel some of the comment or the fears I've gotten from comments that Future is too runny. I can't shoot it in my airbrush. I tried it in my airbrush and it ran, and this, that, and the other. That's one of the reasons why I like these Pache airbrushes. They are, single action. I don't have to worry about, how much trigger pressure versus pulley back pressure I have to use to, get the right amount of air to the right amount of paint or whatever, or clear, whatever it is I'm putting on. I can adjust right here at the tip and get everything I need, out of my brush. So, I'm going to show you what I do, and this is how I do it, and it works for me. Now, what I usually do is, well, first of all, what I usually do is put a little more Future than that in there. What I usually do is I clear, once my paint is dried enough to where I can apply clear to it, I put my decals on, or my trim work, or whatever it is, my bare metal foil, whatever, and then once I get the car completely assembled, bumpers on, glass in, side mirrors, the whole 9 yards, I will then take my Future and I will brush apply at the very end. And the reason I do that is I don't want, I just don't want this stuff sprayed all over, everything. I don't want it all over the glass, in spray form. I want to brush it out. Now it will, I've done it that way, and it will level itself out, but it takes a lot longer than it does if you just take your brush and go across it, lightly, put a light coat on it. Don't keep going over the same area with your brush. And that's my final coat usually before it goes to the shell. So, having said that, that's what I like to do. Like I said, I have used my airbrush at the very end, but like I said, when you start doing that, if you have a decal that's not quite laying down all the way and you've got air blowing, on it, you're subject to maybe blow the tip up, the corner of it up, or you may loosen up, a decal that's not all the way down as much as, as you would like it. That's why I let my stuff set. Usually when I get my decals on, I will let them dry completely overnight before I put anything on them. Future, anything. So, but like I said, I feel much more safe just using the brush method at the very end. So anyway, alright, now what I usually like to do, I like to start my brush all the way closed, and I'll just work up a little at a time. And what I like to do is I'll check on the back of my hand, and that's why I like latex gloves. You can do that, on the back of your hand, not have to worry about getting it all over your hand. And I'll spray a little, and I don't know if you can see. I guess you can see if I put my hand down into the frame. You see that little light, that little wet area? That's all I need right there. Alright, let's start. And we're just going to go across it lightly. Very lightly. And we're going to try to stay about 6 inches away. That way, if you do have it on a little heavy, you know, it's not going to run. It'll have time to disperse itself and lay down, you know, in a decent pattern. So go across it a couple, 3 times. Like I said, this is probably just barely, my needle is just barely open. I don't know if you can see that. Once again, you can see it probably if I put my needle down in the frame there. You can see pretty much all the tip of the needle is out. So that lets you know that the brush is just barely open. And you can see you're starting to get just a little bit of a gloss. All right. Now we're going to take that, we're going to let it sit for about 30 minutes or so, and we'll come back and we'll apply our gloss polyurethane, and we'll be done with the first part of this video. All right, it's been about 30-40 minutes. I don't know if you can see, just a gorgeous shine on that, laid down perfectly. Couldn't have asked for anything better. All right, let's try, let's clear the back now with our gloss polyurethane. We'll shake it up just a little bit. Now, I know you have seen Chris, Classic Plastic. He mixes his polyurethanes, I believe, with a little bit of water. I don't. No particular reason. I mean, I really can't tell much difference. It just applies a little bit better, sprays out of your brush a little better, I guess. It brushes on, I guess, better. I don't brush much. I don't usually brush it on. I usually use my airbrush to apply it. So, but anyway, you know, to each his own, and it works for him, and this works for me, and so. If you try it, you know, you try it each way, whichever works for you, that's what you go with. So, all right, once again, same thing. We're going to start out with the brush completely closed, and we'll just work up just a little bit till we get a little bit of clear to come out. And this will be a little bit more difficult to get out than the future because it's thicker. There we go. There you see just a little wet spot right there. That's all we need. Once we see that, that's all we need. We don't need a ton coming out. So we'll start applying, start putting our gloss on. My brush is trying to dry out just a little bit. There we go. All right. Like I said, this is not going to have the same gloss to it that the Future had. It does have a gloss to it, but it's not nearly as high gloss as Future. And you can be a little. You can put this on just a little heavier, just because it's, you know, it is thicker, and it actually has some of the same leveling properties that Future does. It levels itself out pretty much. You don't have to worry about runs too much, and if you're applying it with a brush mark. So now, I would say that if you're doing you say, well, why would you, for what possible reason would you ever want to put gloss polyurethane on as a finishing clear when you have all these other products like the Tester's Wet Coat, Wet Look Clear rather, and the Future, and all the other high gloss clears that are out there. Well, here's what I would say. Let's put this in the paint booth, and we'll let that dry for about 30 minutes, and we'll come back and close out with the with the Aztec model acrylic. I would say that if you're painting or you're replicating a 60s or 50s, 60s, 70s model car that came off the showroom floor, hey, they didn't have super high gloss finishes. I mean, they had shiny finishes, but they weren't the kind of finishes that you could walk into. You know, they didn't have those 3 feet deep looks to them. They were shiny. But if you've ever looked at, you know, a 70s model Chevelle that's never been repainted or anything, that's come straight from the factory. My family had one. My car in high school was a SS 396, but it had been repainted, you know, for the hot rod part of it. So, but the original paint on it and my parents' family car, you could see runs all over it, and it was not shiny. It was not ultra gloss. It was clear. It was, you know, it was shiny, but it was not, you know, a show quality finish. So if you're trying to do something factory stock and you know you want to be as close to what the real thing actually looked like back in the 60s and 70s, this would be what you would want to put on there. It puts enough of a shine on it that you know, it's a decent looking paint job, but it's not, you know, one of those paint jobs that you're going to see at a car show. So but anyway, we'll let that dry for about 30 minutes or so, or 20 minutes, and we'll come back and we'll close out with the Aztec model acrylic from Testors, and then we'll clear that and we'll take a look at the two products side by side. See you shortly. Okay, it's been about 30 minutes. What I've decided to do is to put the Aztec, Testors Aztec model acrylics into a separate video. This one's going to be kind of long, but I wanted it all together in one since we were using the same craft acrylic, the same colors, mixing with two different kinds of clears or two different kinds of product, and then clearing with those same products. So I wanted those all together, and it is going to be a little long, so I hope I haven't put you to sleep. But here's the finished product. I pulled the tape off, and the front part here is the metallic topaz from Anita's, mixed with Future, about a 50-50 mix, airbrushed, 2 coats, then let it dry, and then we shot the clear Future through the airbrush. There you can see nice shine on it. Much more of a high gloss shine than the back part of the car that we shot with the same paint, the Anita's metallic topaz, and then we mixed it with the gloss polyurethane and washer fluid, and then we cleared with the gloss polyurethane. And you can see that it's got a shine to it, but it's a different shine than what the Future is. The Future is much more high gloss, and here again, that's only one coat, one spray of Future. That's one coat is all that is. So, you know, it's dry now. You could actually go over it again, and then you could take you a lint-free cloth and buff it out, or, you know, a used dryer sheet, buff it out, whatever you want to use, and go over to, you know, a second time, a third time, however many times you want, you know. So you just have to remember to use light coats, and just be careful about your air pressure, and if you're using a double action airbrush, how much of the clear you let through. So but that shows you know that what you can get with craft acrylic. You know, it's a nice paint job. It's a high gloss paint job if you want it. You can this Ceram Coat, and I didn't mention that, but I will. This product that I use, and I think and Chris at Classic Plastic uses, is Delta Ceram Coat. Let me back out just a little bit. is Delta Ceramcoat polyurethane. This is the gloss. They make the satin, which I use for interiors, and usually chassis, what have you. And they make a matte, a flat, completely flat. So if you want to do that, you can if you're doing like a rat rod and you want a flat black finish or whatever, you could go over this with with a matte polyurethane. So it just shows you that you don't have to buy the $6 a bottle paints or the high dollar paints. I mean, this stuff is anywhere from $79 to $89 to, I think, the Folk Art Metallics $2 and something, and they're 2 ounces, versus a bottle of the Model Master, which is $3.79. So this is a ½ ounce of paint that you could probably maybe get 2 models out of. If you've got a big model, probably only one. $3.79 that you're paying for this versus this, which you're paying this bottle here 79 cents. You get 4 times the paint, and I guarantee you, and not trying to blow my own horn here at all, but I guarantee you I can lay a finish down that's just as good with this right here as this right here. Guarantee it. So, but like I said, don't buy anything because of what somebody else said and what their results are. You can use that as a kind of a point of judging what you want to get, but this is not going to cost you but a couple of dollars if you get the Folk Art, or $1.29 for like the Ceramcoat, I think, or whatever. It's not a big investment. Buy you 1 bottle, go home, hook it up to your airbrush, spray it. If you like it, so be it. You've got you a large arsenal of paint. These paints come in a ton of colors, and you can mix and match, and mix it with the gloss, the satins, and clear it with the future if you want to. You can spray I got the Treehouse acrylic that works well with it. Doesn't react to the paint doesn't react to it. Does real well. Super high gloss finish. You can stand the stink. You can put the Testors Wet Look Clear lacquer. It's a mild lacquer. It's not the hot lacquer. So you've got all kind of options with craft paint. Just something to think about. Am I going to exclusively shoot that? Probably not. I mean, I have Model Master. I've got the Aztec, which I'm going to be shooting in the second part of this video, but I was going to put it on this one, but I'll break this down into a 2-part video. This could probably be a 4-part, but I want to keep this video all together since it is the same product and just different clears mixed with it. So until part 2 of this video, check you later.